Transforming your life through hypnotherapy has never been easier. With the help of your host, Julie from coachinghypnosis.net, and these power-packed minisodes, you're sure to find yourself engaging in more positive behaviors around both your physical and mental health. Here's your host, Julie.
G'day, it's Julie from coachinghypnosis.net, and you deserve to know the one mammoth time manipulation hypnosis tip for 2022, because people have had enough of being friggin' phenomenal and time running too fast or slow at the same time. And I'm not a therapist or psychotherapist, but this is my 9th year as a clinical hypnotherapist in strategic psychotherapy. I currently help my clients online. They change their life without changing out of their pajamas. And you deserve to know the truth if you can speed up or slow down time with hypnosis. And Merry Christmas and congratulations. Thank you for being here, word wizard. Because the truth is, when you describe time, you use the presupposition of the subordinate clause of time with words like before, after, during, as, since, prior, when, while. Not only that, you also add in action words, verbs to time like begin, end, stop, start, proceed, ready, yet, deal, anymore. That's how magical you are. And what people love about hypnosis is their thoughts are clearer, more detached, and they lose track of time. And that's because your frontal lobe of your brain lights up and quietens down all the other BS that's going on at the back of your mind. It just fades away. And the latest research in functional brain scan technology has proven that when people are truly focused and concentrating, like Buddhist monks or nuns praying, the brain circuits associated with time literally quieten down. Mastering this skill is what allows us to begin to change our life. And as you and I both know, time does not fly when we're not having fun. And I can only imagine someone like you that wants to have the time of your life, to pack out your life with an abundance of relaxation and getting things done, to perfect life. And it reminds me of the book by Jensen Button titled How to Be an F1 Driver, My Guide to Life in the Fast Lane. He describes how time is the focus of his career. And I guess that's what it takes to be the best Formula One race car driver in the world. But it turns out Jensen Button times almost everything. For example, he gets frustrated if it takes him longer to make a cup of coffee than it did the day before. If you're into that kind of detail, what you might not know is the part of the brain that's famous for creating memories, the hippocampus, records time. When you create a memory, it factors in if the time was midday or midnight, plus a few other things like the place or the event occurred and if there were any people. And that's fine. Seems like no big deal until you factor in your hypothalamus that loves to react to your hippocampus, which has the richest blood supply, and your fabulous brain switches things on or off. The body starts making hormones or stopping them. For example, if your body senses your hormones are low, it starts making peptides. But it gets worse if you have a memory that brings on frustration about time and your midbrain starts producing the chemical recipe for frustration. It passes a message on to the body to produce chemicals associated with the feeling of frustration about time. Let's call it Vanga time, because feeling frustrated about time, there's also a bit of anger, and this state produces a rich, multi-layered flavor, like a secret recipe of herbs and spices that's unique to your brain. In other people, this memory of Vanga time, frustration about time, with some anger might trigger some other special combination. But once that signal's sent to the pituitary gland, the body just comes alive as it did in fight or flight response. Instead of fear or survival, the motivating emotion is that a product of the memory stored in the brain as Vanga time. The pituitary gland puts its spin on the message, and now the pituitary gland, along with the hypothalamus, cook up a batch of peptides corresponding to the frustration about time and a bit of anger. Those peptides are released in the bloodstream, and they make their way to various places in your body, the receptor sites in the body's cells and glandular systems, are scanning for a match for this emotion, and they attract those chemicals of Fanga time to them. And because in this imaginary circumstance, you made this Fanga time years ago, so your cells have developed an astounding number of receptor sites for Fanga time, and you've done something so much more than that. You've just created a negative feedback loop about time. Congratulations. You need a way to override that pattern. But the truth is, you just can't say to yourself, don't think like that, because it's complicated. We all know people who are nerd smart, meaning they have a bunch of somatic memories in their neocortex. But the fact is, these memories are often short-term. And I don't know if you've ever experienced meeting someone and you both don't have pen or a paper and you want to exchange an address or phone number or try and remember how to spell their name. You can't remember it and you never see each other again unless something reminds you of that memory. Because you and I both know most people remember where they were in time when 9/11 happened, or when Princess Diana died, or maybe where you first saw Spider-Man the movie. People can recall the rough time of day, where they were and what they were doing. Episodic memories always tie a person, place, and time. And when it comes to remembering time, the two strongest neurotransmitters are produced by the pineal gland. Serotonin, the so-called daytime neurotransmitter, prepares the brain to be awake during the hours of daylight, and melatonin, nighttime neurotransmitter, prepares the body to experience restorative sleep during the hours of darkness. So how on earth are we meant to override how we feel about time when our body's so good at keeping track of it? But to quote Dr. Joe Dispenza, we give no thought to our heart is pumping 2 gallons of blood per minute, well over 100 gallons per hour, through a system of vascular channels about 60,000 miles in length, or twice the circumference of the Earth. Yet the circulatory system makes up only about 3% of our body mass. Every 20 to 60 seconds, each blood cell makes a complete circuit through the body, and every red blood cell makes anywhere between 75 and 250,000 round trips in its lifetime. By the way, if all of your red blood cells in your bloodstream were lined up, they would reach 31,000 miles into the heavens. In the second it takes you to inhale, you lose 3 million red blood cells. In the next second, the same number will be replaced. How long will we live if we had to focus on making all of this happen? Some greater, more expanded mind must be orchestrating all of this for us. But what scientists have found is a trained mind or brain is physically different than the untrained one. Just like professional athletes practice their moves thousands of times, day after day, week after week, so they don't have to think about the complexity of the moves when they're competing. And being able to have the time of your life takes a bit of practice. And when you meditate, pray, or go on a long drive, you find your frontal lobe switches on and the rest of the brain starts to fade away. Spiritually, you can feel more connected to everyone and everything, or you can feel no sense of self or something else. But the truth is, when we take the time to think about the life you want to live and who you want to be, your frontal lobe switches on and you can begin to contemplate possibilities, decisiveness, joy, enhance your ability to learn from mistakes, take action towards goals, create dreams, goals, and gain clarity. And so much more. You can lose track of time. And to quote Don Tolman, Homo sapien, in a moment of spontaneous equilibrium, leaps to Homo deus, creating a door passage in the space-time continuum, where individuals step out of time. They've become time travelers. An oblique look at the meaning of time postulates. If what should be a 10-minute task on the keyboard usually takes 1 hour, then keyboard time has to real-time equivalent ratio of 1:6. In effect, expansion of time. Convey them we may compress a 7-hour transatlantic flight into a little more than 1 hour, provided of that time were spent on flight interacting with a laptop. Although we may chuckle at time reconstruction, we also encounter an obvious truth. Time is personal, calculated according to productivity and happiness, rather than a decay of an atomic isotope. And you deserve to travel through time on your terms, having the time of your life, because you're fabulous And in Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, Evolve Your Brain, you will discover a chapter called Masters of the Frontal Lobe. This power of intention is what most admire about our great heroes. Through them, we see the frontal lobe at work, inhibiting the need for immediate gratification. By allowing the brain to maintain long-term goals, William Wallace, Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, Queen Elizabeth I, all were masters of the frontal lobe. They kept their focus on an intended outcome, a principle of freedom, honor, or love, and never wavered from that ideal no matter how difficult or chaotic the circumstances they faced. They had the ability to intentionally make ideal so real that through their constant attention on a particular concept, it became more important than the needs of their body, the conditions in their environment, and even the concept of time. In other words, it didn't matter if their body was in danger, how difficult the obstacles were in their immediate life, or how long it would take to overcome. Only the ideal mattered. Hypnotists distort time by manipulating the same wizard words you use, like presupposition of the subordinate clauses of time with words like before, after, during, as, since, prior, when, while, and verbs like begin, end, stop, start, continue, proceed, ready, yet, still, any more to create a sense of timelessness, spacelessness, and comfortable feelings, and we call them temporal predicates. Temporal, as in time. Hypnosis also allows subjects to explore time in ways that clock time would make it impossible. For example, imagine looking back at your entire life without any sense that you ever rushed it or you were ever in a hurry. So here is the one mammoth time manipulation hypnosis tip for 2022. Just get on with it, because I never really know if clients are capable of thinking about a fortress, if it's built block by block or stone by stone. But what I do know is someone like you is more than capable of building your life now to be a great success. And I'm curious if you will have the time of your life earning the most money that you can possibly earn. Where I wonder if you just might discover what a thriving time you can have, because on some level, there's nothing or no one who can keep you from the success that you can be, is there? But if you were to take a moment to expand to succeed now, how you feel a sense of confidence about living your life every day, I wonder how that would feel, because I'm confident someone like you doesn't want to overcome time just because you want to, because you deserve to dominate your life experience, having the time of your life, and just get on with it. In fact, having the best time ever comes easily and naturally to you. Not only that, you feel healthier as you slay each responsibility and chore off your checklist, progressing on your road to living a lucrative life. And I don't know if every day your work gets easier to accomplish, or you feel better about being you, or it just feels fabulous getting those little things out of the way. And you know the kinds of things that once sidetracked you, divert your attention no more. You travel through time on your terms as a time traveler, because you are seasoned to succeed. And I can only imagine someone like you enjoys the chance to put a smile on someone's face, takes pleasure in the pulse of life, enjoys slowing it right down, or something else, because a wise man once said, time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time. So what if you thought about time manipulation hypnosis differently? And what if you didn't? The choice is yours.